So we have progress, progressing, progressing.
It's mid-May and I'm doing a video to talk a little bit about how I'm doing on Ocrevus since my transition from Tysabri. A little bit of background: I've had MS for 22 years, and for the past 14 years I've been on Tysabri. I started it when it came out in the summer of '06. When I started Tysabri, I had been using a wheelchair for 4 years. And the day after my third infusion, I got out of a wheelchair and stopped using a cane or crutches or a wheelchair.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
And I haven't used it since I've been on Tysabri, but I switched from Tysabri to Ocrevus in the early part of this year, February and March. And the reason I switched is because I just felt it was, the MS was progressing.
So we have progress, progressing, progressing.
As it does, it's a progressive disease. You can't stop it. You can slow it down. Tysabri did, but I felt it was just moving on, and I started to get tremors in first my left hand and then in both hands. I decided to switch to Ocrevus, and I made the switch, and in between time I had a relapse in February of this year.
I relapsed.
And I hadn't had a relapse for 14 years, the entire time I was on Tysabri. But I did it in February this year. It wasn't as deep as the relapses I remember in the past, but it was just different. I got electric shocks in my left arm, and that is gone since I started Ocrevus. I had looked for, I guess I expected and what I wanted from Ocrevus.
90% of people with relapsing remitting MS in the studies got better, even up to 95%.
Is to make the tremors go away. They haven't. Have they lessened? Yeah, a little bit, but the tremors are still there. And that has not changed. Maybe I look for it to change in the couple of months. My next infusion is in October. I really like the fact that Ocrevus is only twice a year.
I find that to be even more tolerable than a monthly infusion.
What do I expect? You know, the nerve pain is still bad. That hasn't gone down. Actually, that's been that way since I've been diagnosed with MS. Drives me crazy. But I take gabapentin to help with the nerve pain, and that does help. And I take propranolol. I have for a couple of months for the tremors. Has that helped? Iffy. I think my wife will tell me, yeah, it has helped.
Should a husband listen to his wife?
Duh.
But it's still pretty bad. But I deal with it. You know, I don't walk as far as I used to 10 years ago. Maybe that's age. Yeah, I'm getting old. Aren't we all? But, you know, I deal with it and I adapt to what I can and can't do. There's a lot of things I can't do, but that's MS. There's a lot of things you can't do with MS, period. And MS is a progressive disease. There's nothing that I can do or that I can take that will change that, because there is no cure for MS. But I deal with it. It's not all bad. I'm enjoying, enjoying is a word that I wouldn't use, I guess. But as opposed to the alternatives, Ocrevus is pretty good. I expect it to get even better. And we'll see. You know, it is what it is. So there's that, but I'm doing well. Still walking, still doing things that I can, and I don't do things that I can't.
Thanks, Captain Obvious. I was on a totally different track.
So I'm hanging in there, so we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Be sure and like my videos and subscribe to my channel.
Where the puppy gets it.